So here's what I'm currently working on, and it is an enclosure for 2 Ender 3s. I believe you could get an Ender 5 in here. I'm just going to make this for 2 Ender 3s, I believe. I'm going to use my 2 Ender 3s that I currently have. You're going to have 2 doors, a door here with a window. This particular one is a 5-ton Lennox air handler. It's not very structural unless the doors are mounted on the front. Coils in it. The housing that holds the blower assembly strengthens it up. It's just a piece of a carrier air handler. Cut out the side. Welded. I think I'm going to actually put rivets in here. So there's another one right here. What you don't see is there's another piece that this overlaps. So behind here there's a piece that comes up a 1/2 inch and then goes down and then curls down around, and I have it welded here. You can't see it, but it's got some good welds, and that's pretty strong. Same thing on the bottom. Same deal with it's actually 2 pieces. So we need a good shelf. I'm going to put another piece of this air handler metal on top of that metal structure, and same on the bottom. So I could have done this all with 1/2 inch, but in the scrap pile they had 4 pieces that were 2 foot long of that 1 inch down there, and I was like, I'll take that. So they are riveted. I'm gonna put rivets in the side here into it and on the back. On the front, it's really nothing to attach it to. Same deal, cut a piece of metal, put it on the top, and put some rivets in all around to kind of hold it. And we'll seal it with some RTV silicone, black, after I paint it. So on the doors, it's basically going to be air handlers too. I'm going to take 2 of the lips. So the top lip and the side lip on where it opens. So I'll have this lip, and this will be a cut, and along the bottom will be a cut. Same concept of using the probably 1/2 inch. That's 5/8. I'll use 1/2 inch or 5/8 and make a frame, and probably rivet the door to that frame, and then we'll cut that. I might even get the plasma cutter out, and we'll cut a nice shape here, mount some 1/4 inch or 3/16 plexiglass. We'll put the SKR screen here, same thing on the bottom. TFT screen, I'm sorry, will open. When this opens, on the other side of the door will be a CR10 screen. So when the door is open, you have access to a CR10 screen. When the door is closed, you have access to your TFT and you get to see it. Also, we'll put a temperature controller on here that controls a fan system for keeping the each individual area whatever temperature you want. So they will be independent of each other and sealed off. The cases, it'll use my regular Ender 3 cases that I've been printing for the mother of all Ender 3s. And we'll just mount that case on the side, and we'll reroute everything so the case will actually be on the left. So the Ender 3 will sit in here, case will be mounted to the outside right here, and we'll actually have a chain mount. So these Ender 3s are pretty much going to be like permanently part of this thing. So they're going to be wired in. Could also possibly think about putting connectors on like the heat bed, the nozzle, anything, so you can actually take the printer out. But it'll all be open. You can just take the cover off the side if you need to take something apart or whatever. You know, however you want to do it. But I think that I'm probably going to run back to the metal store and get this stuff to make the doors. I found some wood stove seals that are about a 1/2 inch wide, 1/8 deep, and we'll use that to seal the door. We use regular hinges. It'll use the same fan controller, like the $10 fan controller that I put on the dehydrator for controlling the whole operation of the dehydrator, but here we'll just use it to turn on 40 by 40 fan. I don't think it needs to be much bigger than that. Could be an 80 by 80. I'm gonna have to think about this, but it's gonna go into 3-inch T-flex pipe, pretty much aluminum pipe. We'll vent that outside. It'll have 2 independent ones. I'll also set this on an air handler stand. Needs to come up about 12 inches. And that still puts the bottom one kind of low. I guess pretty much we have a rolling stool for the automotive side. We'll just bring that over here. And all right, as far as the finish, I was trying to figure out if I should take this thing, get it sandblasted, powder coated. I mean, it's got spray glue on the inside for where the insulation was. I did take the pressure washer to it real good, so there's really nothing coming off it, but it's a rough, nasty mess. And I'm sure for a couple $100 they could make this thing look halfway decent. But I got thinking, let's get a can of flat paint for the inside and a can of semi-gloss for the outside. Some oil base, rough it up a little bit with the orbital, and roll a coat on the outside. Everywhere it's flat, we'll roll it. On the inside, we'll roll it where we can, and then we'll brush over it. It's a nasty surface in there. We'll put the paint on liberally, flat. It'll look good. You'll never see it. Probably put some lighting up in here too. We'll address that. Put a little switch. So I have to think about a little separate power supply. Little separate power supply that can run the exhaust fan, run the thermostatic controller, and a lighting system with a switch. We'll have to look around, see what the best option is on what's out there. This thing's going to be pretty cool, pretty slick, I think. Probably really should be on wheels. The one good thing is I have that big 1-inch angle down there, so we flip it over, weld a triangle to the bottom of it, and mount a wheel to it if necessary. I was very close to spending about $700 on an Enclosure, and I got this idea. I mean, I walk by these freaking air handlers in the scrap pile, and I'm looking at pretty much paying $650 for something that's about the same shape. And it took me a while, but even as dumb as I am, I realized, hey, wait a minute.